So today is a day where we'll be starting introduction with Azure. Yes, so most of you may be aware what the cloud is and what capabilities that the cloud may be having. And I'd like to set forth some history, some story about why we are here and where we'll be traveling in future, and what are all the principles which were guiding the entire humanity, the civilization, or the evolution of computing, which has put us in the place where we are now, and the principles which will be guiding our progression into the future computing civilization that's going to happen. Yeah, and why suddenly data is has become a buzzword, and what is so special about deriving more value out of data, and what do we mean by data engineering altogether in first place. So what are we trying to engineer in the data, and what is the benefits that we derive if we are going to engineer data. So we'll try to put it in a kind of simple story and the kind of historical background which is driving the principles regarding the data journey that we are in a contemporary day, and what are all the things which are available in front of us, so that we can tap the benefits of the provisions of the latest day technological provisions. Am I good enough? Are you able to follow what I'm trying to say, or you want me to slow down? You can please let me know. Yeah. So assuming that most of you are technologically aware about electronics, okay, I'll try to put forth some background about it. Yeah, the electronics has started evolving right from the year 1960s, somewhere in the early 1960s. So that's when we have vacuum tube based transistors, and you would have imagined those good old days when we have the radios in villages, almost size of a very big half of a room or something like that. You would have seen in some black and white movies, and the transistors kept on reducing in size, and that evolution of electronics kept on moving in such a sophisticated way that the electronics are getting reduced in size day by day. So this great scientist who is chairman emeritus of Intel Corporation, Gordon Moore. So chairman emeritus, we can call someone like the chairman of Infosys, Mr. Narayana Murthy, who is emeritus chairman now. Is not serving. He is not involved. He's only like he founded it, and he is now dormant in terms of operating that company. So in his early years, in the year 1929, he was born, and in the year 1965, he has postulated some theory that electronics will keep reducing or reducing in size or doubling in performance. So that postulate has been proven. So he observed something, and he said that in one of the interviews that it keeps on, the power of electronics keeps on increasing day by day. For every 2 years it will double up. So that's the principle which is guiding the electronics even today, that electronics keep on increasing in terms of sophistication on a day-to-day basis. So that is a background how the computers have been evolving till now. Okay, so this is a scientist, Gordon Moore. So probably who are you from engineering background, maybe knowing something about it. It's better even if you know it now. It's later on his postulates have been taken as a challenge, and that was made as a law. Someone called it as law. and it was called as Moore's law. And that Moore's law is enabling the sophistication of computing these days. Yeah. Why we are discussing about that? So today's computing has increased both in power, capacity, as well as the capability that which it is doing right now. So along with hardware, we have the software also. So there are demands from softwares at times that this hardware is not sufficient. At times the hardware is giving more and more computing power that software has to evolve and keep trying for deriving more. So this mutual challenge between hardware and softwares, and a lot of companies have evolved and a lot of companies were making money, and that's how the kind of advancement was happening in computing. If this kind of advancement, if this kind of advancement was put into a mechanical engineering domain, someone has someone has told in some of the meetings that with 1 liter of petrol we can drive some 500 to 600 kilometers. That's the possibility with the kind of R&D that went into computing world. Had it been gone into mechanical engineering, that's the kind of benefits that we would have derived, the mankind would have derived. So yeah, so though the computing happens on ones and zeros, the kind of advancement that we are in today, it's like it has grown beyond leaps and bounds, is what we can say. Yeah. And why cloud? Yeah, anyone having any idea why is it a cloud? Is it it's as a phenomenon? What is the benefits of having the cloud? Why are we so fascinated about the cloud? What are all the benefits? Yeah, definitely. All of you may be having or some idea about it, and some of you may be a bit confused about what this cloud computing is all about. Yeah. So as we have seen, this electronics is growing in leaps and bounds from way back in the year 1960s, and and we can see that the way electronics are getting older and older, which means that we if we buy a laptop today, and it may get older and get reduced in value in very much less time as compared to any other consumer products that you buy. So you can just imagine about a mobile phone. After using it for 3 to 4 years, you feel that this is lazy enough, or this is old enough that it is not performing up to your satisfaction, or it's not able to pull up the most recent softwares that you are having. Probably if you scan Paytm or phone pay using one of the softwares, the underlying hardware may be performing well now. As you keep these softwares getting upgraded, having more and more security features added, it's demanding more and more computing power, and suddenly you find that your mobile is giving you trouble, and your electronic gadget would have got outdated. Yeah, you may have to keep yourself abreast with the pace of the advancement happening on the electronics, and you throw that mobile away or get rid of that mobile and try to get some more powerful mobile phone. So this is experience that you would have been having with the kind of very very personal and intimate gadget that you may be holding. Yeah, so if that is the case, if we have to run our life as an individual, mobile is playing a very important role, because without connecting yourself with the world, there is no meaning for us. So that's the kind of advancement with that we are in, that's the kind of connection that we are having with people. Yes, for good or for bad. Yes, this is advancement that is happening, and we have to live with it, and we have to derive more and more benefits out of it. Yeah, this is the way the progression is happening. Yeah. So if this is a kind of advancement, it's a kind of obsolescence of electronics that is happening. And the companies which are being run traditionally, you can imagine, like in good olden days, I don't know how many of you are fortunate enough to witness the banks which were working in completely manual fashion. So they would have been writing the transactions in manual books called ledgers, very books. And that was having some difficulty, like you can imagine. So if you are having an account in a branch, and if you have to make transaction, you have to definitely be physically present in that particular branch and validate yourself and perform the transactions. Or you can write a check, and that check will get uh, that check will travel via post to that manager. He validates, and then he will perform transaction based on a note issued by you, like a check or something, DD or something. That's where you have the system functioning in a very restricted fashion. And then you have digitized your data, and the data is available. Suddenly an explosion happened. Services are available to the customer at their home. You can access internet, and through the internet you can access what is available in your account. And if it is accessible from your home, if it is then it is accessible from anywhere in the country, anywhere in the state, and anywhere in the world. Yes. So companies which are functioning in a manual way have have revolutionized themselves by incorporating the technology. So they started building softwares were challenging hardwares, and hardwares are challenging softwares. A kind of mutual challenging has led to a continuous evolution of computers, and it has resulted in what we are today. And and computing, as when we come to Azure, cloud in general, it's a phenomenon. It was started developing more than a decade ago. I can realize I started my career in the year 2007. So I was able to see 2010 when this buzzword was happening, and all were talking about cloud, and even the colleges and the students were discussing what is this cloud. No one used to understand what is this cloud. Yeah, cloud is there somewhere, you can see cloud will give us rain. Yeah, a lot of jokes were happening. Something cloud is there, some phenomenon is happening. Yeah. Now cloud, how is it different? If not cloud, what is that? The traditional ones which we used to have. No, all the companies who aspire to have digital solutions or digital applications built and derive the benefits of the digital applications as well as the digital solutions need to have infrastructure, a virtual world wherein you can hold your data. And that the place where you hold your data is called storage. It could be hard drives, or most recently solid state drives, advanced ones, and some processing power. So you would have been, like, seen people having more and more powerful mobiles, more and more powerful laptops with you. You say someone say i3, i5, i7. You may boast yourself having more powerful computing at your disposal. So you would have been feeling proud to have such kind of computing capacity in your hand. And so is the companies. So if you have more computing power in hand, and companies will not have any limits. Say an example, Visa. You have the you have the debit cards or credit cards having Visa logo. Visa is a service provider who is having
Rudrak,
network. Yeah.
have you shared your screen?
I am not sharing the screen. I'm just
Okay.
trying to.
Okay, okay, got it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm just
you
trying
can.
to put. So Visa is a company which is a service provider. Okay, this service provider is having the network and the capacity to process the transactions, be it on debit card or credit card, and they extend these services to different banks. So you may be wondering, like, you have a debit card or a credit card which is having Visa logo or Mastercard logo on the bottom right corner of it. So which means that it's a service provider who is having both the infrastructure, which means that hardware and software, he owns it. He would have set up a data center. He would have set up some, some very big powerful computing systems and some secured security layers above that, and some very good secure softwares above that. And he may be hosting some kind of database which would be performing transactions in an integral fashion, which means that, there is no confusion, since these are financial transactions, and money is being calculated in the most accurate way, which could be subject to many kind of audits, and ensure that, yes, you're not creating money or you're not losing money. That's very critical. So that kind of integrity is built into system, and that operations are happening there. It's trustworthy, dependable. Yeah. So those companies which are having this kind of infrastructure are able to sell themselves and are able to grow. This is a kind of magic, because we know only the hard cash, and these kind of transactions are happening. You may not have to carry, 20 lakhs or 30 lakhs with you. And if you have the money in your account in a digitally, encrypted format, or stored in some database called mainframe computers. Sorry. And you have this infrastructure available, this company is able to make huge amounts of money, because every transaction that they are providing this kind of smart card or plastic money. Plastic money is a term that we call for debit cards and credit cards. And yeah, excuse me. Yeah, they are able to grow beyond leaps and bounds along with the evolution of computers. So they are able to invest in technological advancement, and able to build secure systems, so that they can put present to the people the advancement of technology. People need not have to carry cash. There is no worry of having fake currency. You can perform transaction within jiffy, just like that. And that also kept on evolving. You had pin number, you had, signature based authentication, and a lot of things were happening, that kept on happening, and that's still happening. And these days we can see that people are trying to get rid of cash completely and trying to get rid of cards completely, and we have another method called QR scanning system, which is happening. So this evolution keeps on getting more and more smarter, that keep on demanding a lot of computing power. And now these computers are getting obsolete more faster than uh, any other gadgets, or products that we have. How to handle this obsolescence? So you buy a computer now that may not be relevant after 2 or 3 years. This is a very big headache for companies also, because they have to put in a lot of upfront at once. They have to put some budget, which is like, very big one. You have to invest in a huge amounts, say, which runs into hundreds of crores also. Like, you need to have physical infrastructure like a building, an air conditioning, racks, servers, very costly hardware servers, and power systems, backups, network, storage, hard disk, and engineers to maintain it. Yeah, just think about it, how difficult it is to have investment and find people who can maintain and keep this up and running throughout the operation time, like 24 hours. That's the duration which they want to do their business. Yeah, yeah. Just imagine about it. I will mute myself and unmute in just one more minute. Yeah. So what is a remedy if hardware is getting so fastly getting outdated because of power demanding software. So software is getting evolved more faster. So we can see that software is something that will get patch updates very frequently, which means that it is evolving more fastly because we want to have a release at a moment when you have no defects, and when your QA team has finalized and your release manager is very good to go ahead and move these updates in the software. It may be security, or it may be advancements, or it may be some modifications in the software, and that will be pushed over internet. That gets updated. Software is the most frequently updated commodity out there. Because of software, obviously your hardware also has to get updated. It will try to catch pace with software, so hardware will get more obsolete. There's a very big problem. So every once in 3 years, if a company has to invest completely, if not completely, like the real estate, the building, the air conditioning, as well as racks, that may not get changed. The backup systems may be one and same, but you have the 70% of investment going into buying or replacing the uh, servers. If you don't have your own server, you can't even aspire to have digital services provided over internet, which means that if you have to start a business like a Paytm or a Phone Pay or things like that in the past, like what Visa would have done some time ago, almost 10 or 15 years ago, somewhere they would have been lucky and they would have had huge amount of money, millions and millions or trillions, which they are ready to commit to build this kind of infrastructure. And they would have had this kind of dream, a disruptive one, so that they are able to provide the digital payment solutions as an infrastructure and lend this infrastructure to all your banks and payment systems. And they put this logo, and you are responsible for transactions and keep giving these services to all the customers of all the banks who had tied up with Visa. This is possible with only with Visa. Visa is a monopoly in the market because they were able to think ahead of times and put so much money, and that was not possible by any other companies. And that it was a very big headache. It was a continuous headache even for Visa, because they have to replace their continuously, you know uh, the hardware, which is getting older and older day by day. Software is getting older, definitely, but the team is there who maintains it and try to make it more relevant to the times of the day. But your hardware getting older, no one can stop that, and you have to keep putting more and more money as you keep on moving in time, traveling in time. Okay, so that is the context, and this is a very big problem, and the problem has to be remedied in some or the other way. And the evolution has found one way, that is this big MNCs who are very well versed. So you have something called uptime or high availability, things like that. You would have heard about all of this in your somewhere, definitely. If you are experienced, you would have known about it. But high availability means like in 24 hours if I say 99% availability, still that would give a scope for non-availability of the system for a significant time, that is up to 30 to 40 minutes. It may be 20 minutes if you calculate. 20 minutes of outage itself is not tolerable, which means that if I make an agreement as a provider of hardware and software, if I say 99% of the time it is available, still I am having up to 20 minutes of time when it is not available. And if within that 20 minutes, if you are making transactions in a shop and you are made to wait in a line, how embarrassing it is. That is what we call it as dependability on a particular software system. This 20 minutes, because I made an agreement that I may be out for 20 minutes and still it is embarrassing. So in order to overcome all of these problems, companies who are experienced in maintaining the data centers have come up with a solution, say cloud. Cloud is where you won't be maintaining any data centers. Cloud service providers who are very big MNCs who have the capacity to put their knowledge, experience, and this evolutionary knowledge, as well as the kind of R&D which they could commit and come up with the data centers. Now you don't have to worry. Data centers are there somewhere. Cloud service providers are giving it. If hardware is getting older, they are able to replace the hardware. If the software above which the above the hardware you run some software, and this software will also get updated continuously. If it has to be updated, then it's like using one scenario where you are running a server at your home, and if that server software has to get updated, you will get updated notifications. You may choose to have the automatic update, or you may want to update it manually. Check the version and see what are all the what are all the release features that you want to have in this upgrade, whether you want to have it or not. What is the impact? At times this may be thought by one or the other team leads to see if a particular upgrade is really impacting the status quo, and after evaluating they may choose to upgrade the software. So if you have a cloud infrastructure at one place, then they can upgrade the software. The hardware get obsolete, they can replace the hardware. They can give you most modern available technology out there. All of this, everyone wish to have it, but the very big problem is upfront investment. So by having cloud, we are getting rid of this upfront investment. These cloud service providers have come up with a model, like they are putting in the money and they are collecting the money continuously. They are taking away this headache from the companies, big MNCs, or even an individual. There may be one person who may have very big aspirations, very big thoughts, but he may not have resources to commit upfront at once, like millions and millions and trillions of dollars of money. He may not be having, but he may be having very good idea that will definitely make him a very rich person in the world if implemented, but you don't have chance to implement it because you don't have millions and millions of dollars with him to implement that idea. This was a thing of past. Now if anyone who is just walking on the road is having a very good idea, he don't has like millions and millions of dollars of upfront investment, but he can pay for the services for 1 week or 10 days. Only that much money he is having. You can use that money to go and set up an infrastructure there, a minimal one, at least to serve 100, at least 100 or 1,000 people. You can buy a VM. You can immediately go and put a software off the shelf, like just like how you go and do shopping and get some products and keep using them. You will not be manufacturing the products. Like, I'll put a very best example to you. Previously, in olden days in villages, if you need to have milk or curd, then you need to rear the animals like buffaloes or cows. You have to rear them and you have to maintain them. You have to do all the kind of hard work to get milk as well as curd and ghee. Otherwise, you won't be having. People don't share or sell these things in the past. Now you are simply going and buying the milk. You are not, you don't know the so much of difficulty of maintaining the animals or domesticating the animals. And you just have to go and put 20 rupees to get a packet of milk. This is how you're purchasing. You're not putting upfront investment, but you're deriving the benefits of having milk on your daily life. So in the same kind of model is available now in the computing world, which means that even if you have one single room which is 10 by 10 feet, and you aspire to have a very big company, a reselling company or a brokering company or whatever it may be, and you aspire to have lakhs and lakhs of customers at once within 1 or 2 days, you may make yourself popular and try to serve these 1 or 2 lakhs customers immediately, almost immediately, 1 or 2 days. Within 1 or 2 days, you'll be available to provide digital services to a sudden spike in your customers also, who would have come almost suddenly, or there may be a sudden increase in the patrons who are utilizing the services that you are giving in online. So if you want to have the demands met just in time is a concept in management, wherein if you want something, you will be able to get it immediately just in time. One best example is, we have car companies in the past. They have to store all the raw material somewhere in the godowns, and then they'll have to keep building the cars. No, no, none of the companies will maintain such a huge warehouses. They'll procure just in time. At that moment, on that day, they have to produce 1,000 cars. They'll procure the raw material which are necessary to build these 1,000 cars. And they don't have excess material maintained in their godowns. This is called just in time. The same kind of just in time computing can be brought from the cloud providers. Only only thing that we need to have is a very good networking. Internet. Internet is something which is really required to have the benefits of cloud available to you. That's the only thing. So the maturity of internet bandwidth availability is to such an extent that cloud, you need not have to have the computing power in your premises. It could be there somewhere which you even don't know where it is existing, but it is giving you the power of computing. Like, I'll give you a very good example. You would have heard about big data, huge amounts of data. If you have to process that data in the past, you may have ETLs, SSIS, or some data flow softwares which may be running for tens of hours. Now, if you take the same volume of data and process it in the cloud, you could see that you are able to process that within half an hour. Definitely, that is an advancement. That is a civilization. That is the computing power or cloud power. This is all coming at a minuscule cost. You don't have upfront investment. You have to process the data which you used to process in 9 hours, which you are able to process now in just half an hour. And you are paying only for what you are using, just half an hour. How many computers you are using, how much data you processed, and you are paying only for that. This is, if you imagine, this is the benefits that you derive here is kind of plug and play computing. Plug and play, just like how you are getting electricity, how you are getting water to your home in pipes, you are getting electricity to your home in wires through electricity network. You are getting computing power from your home. You are having a portal there, you are creating the huge powerful computers. You are processing your data and extracting information from the data. So why companies are obsessed with having data, having BI system, business intelligence, we call it as. Why is intelligence so important? We have a lot of questions that we have to uncover. Business intelligence is nothing but awareness about business. Why do we need to have awareness about business? Business is all about making profits. If you don't have this margin or profit in a positive boundary or a positive territory, if this margin, assuming that the price is something that which you sell for, cost is something that which you have incurred. Cost of a product may be, cost of making a car may be just 2 or 3 lakhs, but the price at which it is sold in the showroom is 7 lakhs. Assuming that this remaining 5 lakhs is a profit. Yeah. Now, if you don't have this 5 lakhs profit, if you are selling at 7 lakhs a car, assuming that you are selling a car at 7 lakhs, the cost for making this car is 10 lakhs, then you are in loss, right? You have to measure and see whether your company is running in good shape or not. Is each and every product that you are selling, if you have some significant margin on that product, only then your business is running in a sustainable manner, which means that this losses you cannot put it in from your pocket. The business is all about making profits. So they have to continuously keep looking at themselves both internally and externally. Like how many of you, like most of the humans, definitely they will like and they'll spend a lot of time before mirror, because you love to see yourself how you are looking. If you're not looking good, you try to make yourself look better. If you have some medical knowledge, you may want to show some you may want to know what is happening within your body through some reports. This everything is data. What you see in mirror is your imagery. It's also data. You derive a lot of information. You make a lot of points in your mind. Yeah, somewhere some dark circles or something which is happening, which means that you didn't have proper rest. Then you remedy it. You try to make yourself better by eating or taking rest or things like that. So it's all about continuous improvement. If a single person is so much obsessed about his personal data, as a company will give livelihood for at least 1,000 people, maybe 10 people also, at least one person, just assume. It's a livelihood for all the dependents. It has to be on a positive note, which means that it should be making profits all the time. If it has to make profits, then it should know about itself as a body, as an organization. It should know what is happening. It will have the data measured in every point, and that data should give actionable inputs to the people who are making decisions, or we call decision makers in the organization. They want to see in and out. each and every data, like what are all the peoples it is interacting with, whether it is making profit or loss externally, profit or loss internally in the internal operations or in the external operations, where is the leakage happening, how can we get rid of the leakage. All of this comes under data analysis, and it's a very huge subject. And we were talking about Moore's law at the very beginning of this class. Computing world has been expanding. With the computing world and computing capacity expanding, we have huge amount of data coming in. This requires lot of computing power to derive the insights, some information from the data. And that's possible only with cloud, because traditional computing can never be yeah, excuse me, can never be replaced to the ever expanding data which is coming in. It's only the cloud computing which is capable of processing your data and getting the insights. Even if your company has expanded to such a great extent that you think that you can't manage the customers, they may be some running into tens or hundreds of crores, you have to build proper systems in place which will aggregate the data. I will put the actionable information in front of you so that you can retain them. You would have imagined companies like Facebook would have had their base increasing from thousands to crores, hundreds of crores now. Their systems evolve. So if such kind of evolution has to happen, you have to process the data and make insights. If you don't make insights, you can't make profit out of it. The companies cannot survive. So this is the importance of business intelligence. And if this intelligence, the ever expanding electronics, the ever expanding database that we are having, if we have to make a true sense of it and drive the business and make profits, this is a very big, thinking that which you can have. Because I want you to inspire this day where you are able to, you know realize that we have started our day on the National Science Day. Shion is to know, omniscient will definitely be omnipotent. The one who knows everything will be all powerful. The knowledge is powerful. The knowledge can be derived from the data. Data is, if properly processed, will give us some information or knowledge. Yeah, that's what we call does the knowledge coming from the dashboards, from the data relevant to the company, that is processed through ETLs. This is what all about. And we have data factory in place. Like any other factory, it takes some raw material and gives out some beautiful products which is scalable. Azure Data Factory is all about that. Why should you go only with Azure Data Factory? Why not with something else? Yeah, we have the big data platforms like you know Hadoop, HD Insights, and that is the only known platform for processing the big data. And we have most recent evolution in based on the cloud, that is data bricks, data lake storage, and a lot of things happening there. You have Google, you have Amazon service providers in the area of data engineering. All of this require you coding. You have to code. You should know Spark, Scala, or Java, things like that. So you should be coding. You have to write the code. Without that, you can't build ETLs. Say if you know SSIS, SQL Server Integration Services, you can build the ETL pipelines. You can do extraction, transformation, and loading by building some pipelines. It's a visual way of dragging and dropping some components in a particular sequence or order or a pipeline, we call it as. It takes some data and process some data and gives out some other data. That's what SSIS is all about. And if you have to do some similar kind of visually interactive way of building your pipelines, Azure Data Factory is the only thing out there on the cloud. Or you may have some companies would have invested huge amount of money in building SSIS packages to perform ETLs. And if they have to make use of the existing package, they have to rebuild it. They have to engage a lot of knowledgeable people to reverse engineer and re-engineer these packages on data factory or data bricks. Otherwise, you can't derive the benefits of something what you call cluster computing or scalability of the cloud or cost effective method of processing the data or deriving more value from the data that you have you have. How will you derive the data? You have AI, ML, artificial intelligence, machine learning. These are challenging. These are the technologies which are challenging to compete with human brain. A lot of discussions are still happening. A lot of, you can see, today Narayana Murthy would have told, computers or these algorithms can never replace humans. These are wise people. Definitely, we hope that becomes eternal truth, so that humans are always, more powerful in terms of thinking as compared to AI or ML. So we'll know each and everything in data domain. Why we should go for Azure Data Factory? What is data bricks? What is data engineering altogether? What what was big data till now, and how is cloud replacing big data? Definitely, it is beneficial. That is the reason the entire world is moving towards cloud. What are these benefits? We'll appreciate one by one. So by now you would have had some taste or some flavor of what the cloud is all about. Azure is Microsoft version of cloud. Yes, this is very user friendly. This is where the developers, so-called developers that we call, we are getting lazy day by day. Lazy in the sense, if people becomes more dependable on something like Chat GPT, which started to write code now, and you stop to learn some things and try to, aggregate the knowledge that you are having, the machines are getting more and more competitive. You should make these machines servant, even if it is able to think on their own. These have to subserve the human, interest. So you should be able to make these AI and ML systems as your slaves. Only then you can derive the benefit out of it. So we should improve our smartness as the time is evolving. This is what is all about. So I will be delving more details about this story in the further coming classes. So we'll have complete technical discussion and technical introduction from next class onwards. Probably it may be tomorrow. So the today is all about this story about what Azure is, because some of you may be having part knowledge, some of you, sure, some of you may be still confused about, what this cloud is all about, how to get complete knowledge. So I hope I have given some good amount of clarity. I'll be happy to give more and more clarity if you have any further doubts. I'll be opening this forum for you to have any doubts relevant to the topic that we have discussed. I will try to uncover the facts and try to remove the confusion from your mind. Yeah, it's open for you now. Hello.
So, Pratap, Sudhir here. As you mentioned, we require a coding. We need to become a data engineer, either Spark, Scala, or Java. We are not into the coding side. So, how we can achieve how much comfortable post this course, writing a code. Hello.
Sorry, Sudhir. Yeah. I was on mute. I was on mute.
Yeah, no problem.
I was on mute. Yeah. So Azure Data Factory is the right choice for you because
No, okay.
it will give you a graphically, you know,
Mm,
graphically friendly, or kind of drag and drop features wherein
mm.
you can build a pipeline and ensure that your data pipeline is built and working. You can schedule that, and it's very user friendly. So if someone who says that no, I really don't want to code, it's a very good choice.
No, no, I want to code. I mean,
Okay.
so if I want to code, those things will be covered or not? I mean, Spark, Scala, and
I'll introduce you there. It's a PySpark. I'll introduce you to the PySpark on Databricks.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. I am aware of basics of Python, so that will help Python.
Yes, whatever is that you are aware, because when it comes to data processing, you can learn as and when you can see the code. You need not have to have prior experience or prior learning with the syntax or the coding constructs that you have over there.
Okay,
You can
okay,
learn it then and there itself.
mm. Okay, Pradhan, then fine. Just want to know about that. How much coding technically we get over
Yeah.
in your
So you
classes?
have SSIS packages. You can lift and shift your existing SSIS package. You can make them to run on the cloud. That provision is there.
No, I don't have SSIS background.
No, it's okay. But the provision is there here just to
Mhm.
give. So companies may be asking. We don't know,
Okay,
right? So if you are
okay,
aspiring to move to another company and they have this kind of requirement, then you will be in a
okay.
position to tell them that yes, you can lift and shift your SSIS packages, run it on the cloud.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
We'll try to cover nitty-gritties of Azure Cloud. From there we'll start, and then we'll have Azure Data Factory and Databricks covered. So we'll try to appreciate it one by one, so that we becomes the ambassadors of this technology, or
Mhm.
Azure data engineers.
Oh, Databricks in the sense we also cover Synapse Analytics, right?
What you said? Can you please repeat?
Synapse,
Analytics,
Synapse,
synapse.
Synapse. Yeah.
See, you if you are able to master the data factory,
Hmm.
then synapse is a simple warehouse. So you would have
Okay.
heard about Snowflake.
Yeah, I did.
So synapse is something similar to that, but it is an end-to-end provision, an end-to-end enterprise grade end-to-end data warehousing solution.
So Synapse is another kind of ETL.
No,
Snowflake is an
we
ETL
can
tool, right?
say we can say
Cloud
that
ETL.
if you learn data factory can, the knowledge of building a pipeline in data factory will help you to handle the end-to-end implementation in the synapse.
Okay.
So both goes hand in hand.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. So will it cover in this as part of
Yeah,
video? Okay.
we'll cover. I'll give you more details once we are clear with the cloud concepts.
Sure, sure. Yeah.
You are able to
Thank you.
appreciate, able to appreciate the cloud more than the knowledge that you are having right now, right? So if you will be able to, will you be able to tell someone that this is what is cloud means, at least in interviews? What
Yeah, yeah. I can.
someone says, no, why is cloud, what do you know about cloud? So you should say in simple word that hardware will get outdated very often. You can't put upfront investment. There are service
Right.
providers out there.
Whatever the on-premises earlier on-premises maintenance
Yeah,
will be gone, and it will be moved to cloud.
yeah.
And cloud services will take
So
care of the maintenance part of the
yeah,
hardware,
yeah,
and they will provide the application required
yeah.
services.
This is what we call as capex and opex,
Okay.
capital expenditure and operational expenditure.
Right. Yeah.
This is how people try to explain to you, and I have given you in a more elaborate way so that you can appreciate the things in a more practical sense.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone having any further questions?
Hi Pratap.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I have seen many tasks clubbed in single ADF pipeline. So that looks more complex to understand. So how to overcome from that?
Yeah. You so to break the complexity, we can follow a modular approach. Modular approach is like, one pipeline can have, so you can literally break that very big pipeline into small pipelines. Like you can have a single module, or you can break it up, assuming that's there is a limitation now. You can have only 40 activities in a pipeline, and if this is become too cumbersome or complex for you to maintain, you can have 10 into 4 activities. Such 4 activities, if they are connected in series, it will become 10 series, right?
Okay.
You build one pipeline for 4 activities, call this as pipeline 1. Build another pipeline
Okay.
for next 4 activities, call this as pipeline 2.
Okay. So
You can
10
have
child
a
pipeline,
you can have a pipeline of pipelines,
10 child pipelines in one
one master
master
pipeline.
pipe.
Yeah. In that way, you are able to modularize your pipelines, and you are able to break up the complexity,
Okay.
right? In
So
that way, if you want to troubleshoot, you can go and troubleshoot whatever is the module that is having problem.
usually in the trainings and YouTube videos, we can see only one or two tasks added in the one pipeline. But
Agree.
in real time, when I saw uh,
Agree.
many of the
This is
tasks
all.
are
This
clubbed.
is all. See, in the complex organization having complex requirements, it's not the one person who is going to work on it. It's a team of people. When you have a problem, then all of the team members will sit together and try to brainstorm, come up with a solution. Someone will be more experienced, someone will definitely be some expert, an architect who may be able to think ahead of you and try to put some kind of solution there. And and that solution is digestible enough, the team can digest enough and put the workable solution there, so that it is able to you know give some kind of dependable application which will try to process the data without breaking the series. Yes, that will get continuously evolved. Yes, some problem is there, someone is asked to identify where the problem is existing. If it is such a huge one, then definitely it's cumbersome for someone who wants to find the root cause also. Unless you find the root cause, you can't solve it, right?
Yes, Prat.
Yeah. So if you have to manage that solution, like managing a solution is a process which happens on day to day basis. If something is problematic, that will make your next day or the next day more problematic. You have to break your heads to solve that. Definitely you have to make it in a more manageable chunks, connected in some manageable order. Only then you are able to you know improvise it on day to day basis.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the reason you have the entire PDLC in place, project development lifecycle or software development lifecycle in place, and you have experienced people um, who are sitting and trying to make the decisions there, and trying to build a kind of architecture representation which is going to work in terms of solution implementation. Yeah, this is where experience comes in play, and that's how it works. Yeah. Anyone else with any doubts?
Pratap, I didn't understand what is the difference between Snowflake and Synapse Analytics.
These are two different brands of data warehouses. Data warehouses will go into more detail from your upcoming classes. So tomorrow I'll be dealing more with the data formats, the formats of data generally available over there. What kind of data formats will hold what kind of information? Okay. And if we have the data, or if you have the data as raw material, this is a brand. Snowflake is one brand of software. Azure Data Factory is another brand of software which is processing. So you say different company mobiles is having different kinds of features available in them, right? Snowflake will have different set of features exposed in it. Data Factory and Databricks or Synapse may be having different features exposed in it. There may be cost difference also, performance difference also. The kind of benefits that you derive from Snowflake as well as Synapse, you will be choosing right kind of products based on the kind of choices that you make. That will be driven by a lot of factors that you have, the cost and benefit, and a lot of analysis that you make. Yeah. Hello.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah. So if see the comparison of Snowflake and Azure is out of the scope of this training program, but I can say that's a different brand of data warehousing because I'm in data practice. I'm also learning Snowflake. I've implemented few solutions there. So comparing Snowflake with Synapse is out of the scope of this training program. So from tomorrow onwards, we'll start discussing about the details of fundamentals of data and the data systems, traditional data systems, transactional databases, analytical databases or data warehouses, traditional ones, and different kinds of data that we have, and the kind of provisions that we have for the purpose of data storage in the cloud, and the kind of processing infrastructure that we have. So we will start covering them one by one from tomorrow onwards. And thank you for your time.